How cool is this? Do you know what this is? I'll give you a minute to guess. Okay, do you know? This is a bookmark, and I will show you how it works. Okay, here is a book that I have on hand, one of the books that we're going to be talking about today. And you can do top or bottom, doesn't matter. And you can do a single page or several pages. I'm going to do several because I want the stability. And that's what it does. That is adorable. Top, or we can do, I just grabbed a chunk of pages, which is pretty cool. Okay, or bottom. Look at that hot stuff. Love it. Whoever thought of that was on the ball. And I'll shut the book and show you that it really doesn't interfere at all. Not at all. So that is like a genius idea. I will put a link below where I got mine from. And really, I got it with just like chump change. I think it was $1 or something. But I'm loving it. I forgot I had it. I just stumbled across it. And I was like, hey, you know what? Let's just share that. That is, you have to admit, that is adorbs. We are loving it. We are going to be talking about 1, 2, 3. I know I have another one here somewhere. Oh yeah, 4 books today. It's a 4 books book review. I hold in my hand the lovely stack of books that we are going to be discussing. All right, the first book we're going to be talking about is Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. I purchased this mainly because I love this cover. I think it's awesome. The Monster Next Door. Phoebe, should you be reading that? Can true love survive her true crime obsession? Well, that's the second reason why I bought the book, because I had a true crime obsession. I possibly still could, except for I'm keeping that at bay. There was a time where I was obsessed with forensics and luminol and women who kill and all of that kind of talk. Somewhere along the line, I guess I got a little busy and I forgot about it. I know. How do you forget about something as intense as that subject matter? But I know if I start watching these true crime mysteries, I will be sucked in the vortex yet again. I would listen to them in the car, in my travels, while I was cleaning, while I was at work trying to do my job. Probably not the best place to listen to true crime. But if the boss wasn't looking or wasn't present, then I would, sneak an episode in while I was doing my paperwork. And then I was the last one to leave. And I would, put it on. I discovered the Sirius satellite channel had a true crime channel. And it was one of the more popular ones. I don't remember what it was now because it was a couple of years ago, but it was one of the popular ones. And, I was like, I shouldn't be doing this. It gets dark at 4 o'clock where I am from, and B, I am the only one in the building, and probably that's what made me stop, because it could get kind of spooky or scary when it's dark and you're the only one there and your office is literally connected to a parking lot. Probably a great idea to pull the plug on that situation. So that's probably how I got away from it. Well, long story short, I decided this book was for me. This is the story about a PhD candidate named Phoebe Walsh, who is doing her dissertation on true crime and serial killers. And her father passes away, and so she travels to Florida with her beloved desk in tow on the top of her car, and she heads to Florida to clean out her childhood home. And this is a home she has not been in for years because her and her father were sort of distant. Next door is a sweetheart of a neighbor named Sam. He was cutting Phoebe's dad's grass, helping Phoebe's dad out with whatever he needed. So when Phoebe couldn't quite figure out how she was going to get this desk off of her car, she just said, you know what? Heck with it. We'll deal with that tomorrow. I'm going to go inside now. Well, that's when the neighbor Sam, this sweetheart of a neighbor, came over and said, do you need help? Well, Phoebe, from being too brainwashed with all of these true crime stories, doesn't trust anyone. And so she is, you know, don't talk to me, get over there on your own side. No, don't need your help, mind your business, get over there, I can do this. Sayonara. She goes in the house, and the next morning, lo and behold, the desk is off of the roof of her car. I had my laugh out loud moments when it came to this book. There were definitely times where I was like, okay, come on, let's get on with this. With the love scenes, didn't need to go there. I am not a hopeless romantic by any means, but if you are, you know, this is a great book for you. I gave this book 3 stars. Overall, I do recommend this book if you haven't read it. If you like humor, if you like romance, if you like true crime, then I absolutely do recommend this book for you. The next book that I read is Thick by Tressie Mcmillan, Cottom. And right off the bat, I am going to tell you I gave this book a 1-star rating. 1 star. So she has 8 essays that she's choosing to share with us. Essays written on subject matter such as money, beauty, social media, politics. As the book went on, I started getting more and more and more disappointed. This book was not for me. If you have read it and you would like to share your thoughts with me, then by all means comment below. But as for me, I can see her point of view and where she's coming from in certain essays, but in other essays, I'm not on board with it. I'll just give you an example. She says that people of poverty are often of lower intelligence, and that they buy things out of want versus need. Their desire to have something that they can't physically afford is greater than the need. And that was the justification of why they went and got that, which makes them a less intelligent human being. And I don't agree with that. I think there's a lot more to human nature and mankind and the way we process our thoughts and then act upon them. There's just way more than saying that somebody really doesn't deserve something because they are poor and they are foolish or less intelligent if they go and act upon that and go and purchase that materialistic item. Not in agreement with things such as that. The next book that I read is My Murder, and it's by Katie Williams, and guess what? Woo, down the tubes this one went. Love the cover. love it. I didn't love the story. This is the story about a young lady, married woman by the name of Lou, and she has a young infant baby, and she went out one day for a jog, and lights out. That's all she wrote. She met her maker on that jog, and via a government experiment, she is brought back to life, where she is to learn how to adapt back to her old life, maneuvering through this life while trying to solve her own murder. And I love that concept, but this was a short read, I'll tell you. Very short. 291 pages. But this was like the longest book I ever read. Woo! Did this story go on and on and on? And, you know, just when I think it's ending and I got it figured out who killed her, we get back in the car because we're going for another ride. Mystery is not solved. Let's keep circling, circling around and around and around and trying to figure this out. And I was over it. Doesn't mean you shouldn't read it. Some of us out there love a good story that feels like it never ends. This was not the book for me. And I just want to mention, just because I am not jiving or vibing with the book does not mean that you shouldn't. Honest to goodness, I hate to say something bad about a book because I feel that the author poured their heart and soul into it, and I don't want to, squash their hopes and dreams. But let's just face it, not every book is for everybody, and that book was not for me. The next book that I read, and the final book that I'm going to bring you today, is Saturday Night at the Lakeside Supper Club, written by J. Ryan Stradal. And it looks like this. And I just bought this summer. When I buy it? Oh, I lied. I bought it this spring. I bought this on May 23rd of 2023. The Lakeside Supper Club is a wonderful place where family and friends and colleagues can go to hang out, to celebrate special occasions. Supper clubs, this one especially, treats you like a guest rather than a customer. So that's the take on this. You would walk into the supper club and they would check your coat and they would seat you at a table and they would immediately bring you out a relish tray on the house and a basket of freshly baked bread. After that, a round of old fashions are passed. Then we have the main courses, and they are things such as pot roasts and steaks and spaghetti dinners and, stuffed peppers and mashed potatoes, that kind of thing. I can appreciate that whole vibe. There was a certain charm to home cooked meals, and you're definitely treated like you're home. You're not a customer, you're not a number, you are home when you enter a supper club. I once had a college professor who said, when you are in retail, you are not just selling merchandise, you are selling an experience. So give your customers an experience. Create an atmosphere. If you're selling Christmas trees, don't just sell a tree. Sell some music. Sell some hot chocolate. Sell some candy canes. Sell some crayons and coloring books for the kiddies. Sell, an experience. And that has always stayed with me. So in this book, there was another genius moment where the light bulb went off. When they don't ask the customer, would you like a grasshopper for dessert? Because that leaves the door open or the window open for them to say, no, thank you. What you have to do is say, when would you like me to bring out your grasshoppers? Love that. I love that, because they're probably going to say a little bit after dinner or after we had another round of mixed drinks, something along those lines. But do you know the whole premise of what I'm trying to say? I think it's brilliant. Would you like a grasshopper for dessert? No, no, no. When would you like me to bring your grasshoppers out? Oh, immediately after another round of drinks. See? Love it. Brilliant. All right, so that's a little off subject, but it is something that I picked up in this book, and that's another reason why I love to read, because I love to learn, and I love to pick up little key things along the way that get my brain thinking and my wheels turning. Now, Stradal wrote this book, and he passed out a book to his family members and asked them to read this and then give their thoughts on what they thought of it. And he actually says in a book discussion that I was watching featuring him, that his grandmother said she's not a fan. She wouldn't buy it, and she wouldn't recommend reading it. But I am not a family member, and I found this book to be charming. I love this book. This book is quaint, and it's homey, and it's charming, and I love this book. And I am giving this book 5 stars. Yep, I'm going to be generous. I'm giving this book 5 stars. It has all the things. It has happiness, sadness, hard work. It takes us back into a time and day where people were laborers, and they knew the value of $1, and they knew what hard work was, on their feet all day long, trying to earn $1, and in a time where the supper clubs seem to be dissipating. They're going away because big box chain restaurants are coming to town. So now we have a whole new ball game that they're competing with. So how does one survive that? This is a very, very lovely book, and it warmed the cockles of my heart all throughout this book. I love this book. Until my next video, know that I love you. Be well, be good, be reading, and may all your book dreams come true.